Hello, veggie lovers. I hope that everybody is having a fantastic Thursday. Welcome. Tonight, before I get started, I wanted to make an announcement that I'm very excited about. I spoke with Alejandra today, and we decided that we are going to relaunch the Salad Challenge on Monday, May the 18th. So pretty soon, just look out on Facebook and on Instagram so that you can get the opt-in to join the salad challenge. It's super fun. Basically, what happens is every day for at least 7 days, we might increase it by a couple of days and try to get a couple of really cool people to join us for it. So every day for at least 7 days, you're going to receive an email and it's going to have a recipe, a delicious salad recipe, and a video and tips on how to make salads. Also, on the before the salad challenge begins, you will get a cool PDF handout on how to build an awesome salad, which has almost like a template, and you can choose from each one of the different sections. And then at the bottom, it's got like the simplest, easiest 3 ingredient or less salad dressings that you can make with all different kinds of flavors. And it was really fun. And we had a great time when we did it 2 years ago. Last year, we didn't do it because we just got too busy. And I feel like this year is the perfect year to relaunch, reintroduce the salad challenge. So be looking out for that. And hopefully everybody will participate and have a great time. So tonight, I'm going to be going over waste reduction in your home room by room. So we did have an episode that went up this past Sunday, episode 95, with Alyssa Sikora, and she talks about her experience with being a zero waste or low waste mom. And so a lot of the things we talked about, I'm going to talk about tonight, but I want to talk about it in a more organized fashion. And then I'll put it up on my blog. So if you need a reminder, if you can only start a few things and then you need a reminder of what else to do later, then you can just go on dryami.com/podcast, and then you'll be able to find these tips. So just a reminder, why should we even care? Why should we even do this? Because we produce a lot of trash, we produce a lot of waste. And it's not because, we're evil people that we don't care. It's because we live in the United States and we have built this amazing life that's convenient and makes things easy. So we have a lot of single use plastics, bottled water, a lot of products that we use, which makes life super convenient, which saves us time and energy. But unfortunately, those plastics end up in a landfill and it's going to take millions and millions of years for them to biodegrade. So now that we've gone through, this time that we've learned how to live a convenient lifestyle, now it's time to pull back and see how we can still live conveniently, but more mindfully. And what I like to tell you about this in my own experience is that don't feel overwhelmed about having to do everything at once. Just start where you can. There's a lot of things, and I'll tell you when I go through this list, that I still haven't done and I still don't feel ready to do them. So just pick a place where you feel like you can start and go for it. So, a reminder about the 5 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle, refuse, and rot. So reduce means just buy less things, have less things that you purchase and bring into your home. I do have a bonus episode on minimalism. So if you haven't checked that one out, you can go back through the Facebook Live videos or go on the podcast for that bonus episode. So it tells you how to be a minimalist and how to start practicing minimalism. So that's one step, but just basically buy less stuff, bring less stuff into your house. Reuse things that you've already purchased, things that you already own. How can you use it for longer, or how can you reuse it in another way? And I'll give you tips for that as we speak. Recycle. Recycle is still important, but I think when we think about waste, we think about recycling. And in the episode where I talked to my friend Kate Gottlieb, unfortunately, she gave us the reality check, which is recycling isn't what's going to save us. Recycling programs are becoming less frequent, they're accepting less products, it's becoming really expensive, some are shutting down. So if you can recycle, recycle, but don't depend on just recycling to help us with this crisis. Refuse. That's one that I didn't know until I started interviewing experts and talking to them about our problem with waste. I didn't think about this, but it's so important. Refuse. So, whenever you go to a restaurant, saying no to the plastic straw, that's refusing. Whenever you go to a conference and they have all these plastic bags and things that you don't really want, but you just take anyway, refuse. Don't bring it into your house. And also, demanding, when the demand goes less of those things are created. So that helps. It creates a snowball effect and it really helps. So start refusing things that you know that you're not going to use, you don't really want, don't bring them in. And then the last one is rot, which we're going to talk about that, which is basically composting. You don't want to put compostable things in the trash because it creates more greenhouse gases by the way that it ferments. So it's better to try to compost if you can and create more soil, and it's better for the environment. Okay, and before we start, this is something that Alyssa talked about as well. Whenever you start looking into low waste, zero waste products, there is so many cool stuff out there. There's cute little glass containers and all of these fancy zero waste things. But don't get pulled into that. If you already have something that does that purpose, like today, as I was doing research, I saw this adorable bamboo comb and I was like, oh, I want that. And I was like, I already have one. I've had it for years. It works fine. Yes, it's plastic, but I'm utilizing it. So I shouldn't try to get rid of that one to get another product that's creating more waste, even if it's tempting, because there's some really cute stuff out there, guys. But if you don't already have that product and you want to bring something in that's more environmentally sustainable, has less waste associated with it, go for it. But think twice about trying to replace things that are still functional. Okay, so let's start in the kitchen. And this is my favorite place to start because I feel like this is a place where I have the most experience and I can talk from things that I have done. First of all, one thing that I did recently that I'm super proud of myself is switching to cloth napkins instead of paper towels. I remember visiting one of my friends, Elise Sokoloff. What was it? Maybe like 18 months, 2 years ago. I don't know how long it was. And she talked about how she got rid of paper towels. And I was like, oh my God, there is no way I'm ready for that. And I wasn't. I wasn't ready for it until recently. And I just kind of took advantage of the opportunity when we ran out of paper towels. We already had some cloth napkins and little cloth face cloths, like the little ones. And I started using them. I just bought a few more to make sure that we had enough to go through like a full 7 days before laundry. And it's been great. Everybody adapted so quickly, like way quicker than I thought. So consider that if you already have cloth napkins or you want to get some inexpensive cotton or some kind of sustainable bamboo, whatever works for you, try that and see how it works. So we haven't had a paper towel for like what, maybe 6 weeks to 2 months since I started that. Using glass jars. So these are glass jars that you, like a lot of our ingredients, like say pasta sauce, or one of the things that's common in our house is the Adams peanut butter jars. So those jars, after you use the peanut butter and you wash them out, they're great to put your dried grains and dried beans, nuts, seeds, those kinds of things. So definitely reuse those glass jars. They work really, really well. Bottled water. This is a huge one. So I know that some people, depending on how their water tastes, they just don't really want to drink it. And so they buy bottled water. Instead, I recommend using reusable water bottles and get a filter, especially if you don't like the way that your water tastes. I do not like the way the water tastes here. It really, like, literally tastes like chlorine to me. So We've had a Berkey water filter for almost 10 years now, and it's a charcoal filter. The filters last for 7 years before they run out. And so it's a really inexpensive way to filter your water, and it's just by gravity. So you pour your water in, it comes out. I am such a snob now when it comes to water. I didn't used to be such a snob, but now I'm mega snob. And that's a really inexpensive way to filter your water. And then the other thing is we use hydro flasks. So I love my hydro flasks. I have them at work too, so that I don't use any of the cups at work. They're disposable cups at work, which are for our patients. But I have them for the family members, and that also saves on having to wash a lot of dishes, because I just tell people, or my kids, my people, use your hydro flask instead of getting a new glass every time you want to drink water. And it's great. And it's also a great way to remind you to drink more water, because that way you can keep track of how much water you're drinking. So consider that Berkey water filter. I love mine, and a reusable water bottle, whatever you have works. Another thing you can do is switch to glass containers to store and reheat your food. Another reason to do this is for health reasons, because plastics can definitely have an effect on our endocrine system. They're endocrine disruptors. And I took this transition slowly, probably about 6 or 7 years ago is when I switched everything out, but I didn't do it all at once. I did it in phases. So if you have a lot of plastic, storage items, then make a decision on how you want to start replacing them. And glass lasts a long time. You usually aren't going to just throw that away. So that's a great way to decrease waste in your house. Purchase reusable baggies for lunches and whenever you leave the house. So this is one area where they have like a bazillion products. So research well what you think will work for your family and how it fits into your lifestyle. But there's a lot available out there that BPA free and easy to clean. That's the most important thing. Seals well and is easy to clean, and is able to store the kind of items that you usually put in your lunch boxes and those kinds of things. So there's a lot of products for that. Just look out for that. Straws. We've been using stainless steel straws for a few years now, and I love them because whenever you're drinking something cold, it keeps that item really cold. And so we haven't used a straw here that's a plastic straw for many years because we had the stainless steel. They also come in glass. That's a little scary to me, but some people like it and they're really pretty. So whatever you want to do, if you drink smoothies a lot at home and you use straws, then consider getting a stainless steel or glass straw, and you're going to save a lot of waste that way. Recycle your plastic and cardboard packaging. Like I said, some places don't have recycle programs, and some places don't accept everything. Make sure that you know what numbers go in your bin, and rinse it well and sort it if is needed. It's necessary to sort in your program, because what often affects recycling programs is materials that are contaminated, and that can create a lot of problems. And so you have to be responsible about that. So, with the coronavirus thing, I don't know what's going to happen with this next tip, but I was really into using my reusable bags for the grocery store, and then my mesh bags to put dried grains and beans and nuts and those kinds of things. And it just works really well. But because of the virus, a lot of programs stopped allowing people to bring their own reusable bags. Hopefully, once we get past this pandemic, we'll be able to do that again. One of the stores here even allows you to bring in your own glass jars and containers, and you can tear it at the beginning and then put the stuff in and then pay for it minus the weight of the container. They even have maple syrup, and if you use olive oil and tamari even, that you can put in your own containers. And so that saves a lot of packaging, and it's a really great way, because if you do that every week, you're just saving so much plastic from going into the landfill. So speaking of not going to the landfill, using the bulk items, like I said, the grains, beans, nuts, dried fruits, you can get all of that in the bulk bin, and that's less packaging. And it's cheaper. Oh, spices too. That's a big one that saves you tons of money. Spices, they might be like a few pennies compared to $5. Like you might be able to get something for like 50 cents compared to $5. It is ridiculously cheaper to buy spices in the bulk section. And then instead you can put it in your container. You're not using all of that plastic or another glass jar if you already have a glass jar at home. For tea drinkers, use a tea strainer for loose leaf tea instead of tea bags. A lot of tea bags go into landfills. Shop at your farmer's market. Take your own bags and containers. That's a perfect place to use that. Or join a CSA or produce service, and they often deliver the fresh produce. It's not in packaging, it's just in a big box. And a lot of times they can recycle that box as well. Right now, a lot of programs have stopped recycling things or taking them back because of the coronavirus. But hopefully once we go back to the old way, that'll be another way to save waste. Another way to reduce waste in the kitchen is get creative with your cooking and be resourceful and use up your produce before it goes bad, or start composting or join a compost service. So that's one thing that I did this year a few months ago is I joined a compost service, and they come every week and they pick up the compost, and I feel so great about that because we are saving so much from going in our trash can, and I can't believe how much. We usually fill up our bucket every week. So that's been a really great thing that we've done. Okay, so that's for the kitchen. The next area that I think can be pretty high yield is the bathroom. High yield, but tricky because there are still a lot of things in the bathroom that I'm not willing to try yet because honestly, I'm scared and I think it's going to be either hard or it's going to have disastrous results, but we'll see. Eventually, I'll get there. So, one thing that we have done, and this was before the coronavirus, so this was perfect, is we switched to a sustainable bamboo recycled toilet paper from a company called Who Gives a Crap. And when it comes in like a big box and it's individually wrapped in paper. If you go buy toilet paper at the store, usually there's smaller rolls together, they're wrapped in plastic, and then there's a big overall plastic. So there's lots of plastic there, but there's definitely more companies now that have sustainable toilet paper. So that's definitely one thing that you can do. It's a subscription. The Who Gives a Crap is a subscription service. And so you just get it like every 3 months delivered. So we have plenty of toilet paper. We're like the only household in America that has plenty of toilet paper. But another thing that I actually love and I want in my home after we move to a smaller home is a bidet or a toilet that you can sit in, and it actually washes your bottom with water. So that's decreasing the use of paper even further. And they have products that are pretty inexpensive that you can attach yourself to your toilet seat. So that might be something that I try eventually. But for now, I'm happy with our sustainable bamboo toilet paper. In the shower, refilling your shampoo and conditioner with bulk products. There's even companies, Plain, Plaine is one company where you actually get them in stainless steel bottles. And then when you're done, you send back those bottles and they send you refilled ones. So they wash and refill the bottles. And so there's less plastic waste. But there's some people that live in areas where they have like zero waste stores where they can refill their own shampoo and conditioner. Hand soap, there's companies coming out that are so cool that you just get a paper box with tablets that you just put into your container and it turns into a foaming hand soap if you like hand soap. But what's even easier than all of that is using bar soap. So use bar soap to wash your hands, use bar soap for your body. And there's people that even use bar soap for their hair. Now, as you can tell, I have the high maintenance curly hair. I am afraid to try that, but maybe I'll experiment on my kids, make them try the bar soap. They have even bar conditioners, conditioner bars. So, and I was looking around at some curly hair blogs that had zero waste recommendations, and it works for some curly girls. So you'll hear from me an update soon if I tried it and it works. For feminine hygiene, this is something that I've done for a long time. A menstrual cup, reusable pads, or period panties. I mean, this has been a game changer for me. I feel so good about how much waste I save from going to the landfill or, ends up in places. So For some people, there's some that they may not be able to get used to, but there's so many different products for different lifestyles that you should be able to find something that works for you. It's just about getting used to it. Okay. So keep an open mind and try something new. But I find I actually have a combination of all three. So I don't want, if there's any men on here, I don't want to gross them out. But usually for my heavy flow days, I use the cup, and then I use the period panties for my lightest days. And then with the heavy days, I also use a backup pad. And sometimes